All right, welcome. You know that feeling when you look at marketing and it just seems, well, chaotic? Yep, we've all been there. But today, we're going to take all that chaos and turn it into a super clear plan of attack.
So let's just kick things off with a question for you. You ever see one of those massive, super flashy marketing campaigns and just scratch your head and think, but why? Like, what are they actually trying to do here?
Right, that feeling? That's usually the result of what I call random acts of marketing. You know, a bunch of disconnected ideas that don't really seem to lead anywhere. The good news though, there are some fantastic tools we can use to fix that. So let's get into it.
Okay, our first tool. This one is all about creating what's known as a golden thread. And this is so cool. It's this idea that connects every single thing you do, every email, every social media post, directly back to the big picture, your company's real purpose.
It's called the MOST framework, and honestly, it's so simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It's basically a quick check to see if the work you're doing every day is actually moving the needle for the business. And MOST stands for Mission, Objectives, Strategy, and Tactics.
Now, the magic of this whole thing is how it flows, right? It's a top-down thing. At the very top, you've got the mission. That's the big why the company even exists. That mission then shapes your objectives, the specific, measurable goals you need to hit. From there, you build your strategy, which is just the high-level game plan. And all the way at the bottom, that's your tactics. That's the actual stuff you do. The golden thread idea means you should be able to grab any little tactic and trace it all the way back up to that mission. If you can't, something's wrong.
Okay, I know this might sound a little bit theoretical, a bit business school, but there's a UK company that brought this idea to life in what is, frankly, the most charming and adorable way possible. We're talking tiny knitted hats.
Yep, we're talking about innocent drinks. Just look at their mission. It's so simple and clear: to make natural, healthy drinks while doing good for the community. That's it. That's their North Star. Everything they do has to point back to that.
So how do you live a mission like that? Well, let's follow the thread. Their objective was to get the public involved in a charity. The strategy: let's tie our product sales to that charity in a way that's fun and gets people participating. And that led them to the tactic, the big knit. People literally knit tiny woolly hats to go on top of their smoothie bottles. I mean, come on, how brilliant is that?
And this is where you see the real power of that golden thread. That one simple tactic, those little hats, because it was so perfectly aligned with their mission, has raised over £3.2 million for Age UK. It just goes to show, the best tactics are never just random ideas. They're always, always driven by the mission.
All right, let's switch gears to our next tool, and you'll see how this builds on the last one. So if the MOST framework is all about looking up and connecting to the mission, this next model is about looking around and grounding your strategy in cold, hard reality. It's all about doing your homework before you get to the fun, creative stuff. This idea comes from two thinkers, Wilson and Gilligan, and their big point was this: great strategies don't just pop into your head while you're in the shower. Nope, they're built on a really deep, really honest, and sometimes kind of tough look at what's actually going on in the world.
And that process kicks off with what's called a marketing audit. Now, you can basically think of this as a SWOT analysis, but on steroids. First, you look inward at your own company, your resources, your brand, your products, to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. Then, you look outward to find the opportunities and threats. And that means looking at the really big picture stuff, like pestle factors, political, economic, social, and all that, plus what your competitors are up to and what the market is doing.
The whole point of doing all this work is to get a totally clear, no-nonsense picture of reality. It gives you that solid answer to the question, where are we right now? Because honestly, that's the only solid ground you can build a plan on for where are we going next.
And you want to see a fantastic example of this in action? It comes from a company that had a super common problem. Their brand name was, well, a little generic, and people were always mishearing it.
So picture this, it's 2008. Compare the market is way down in 16th place for website traffic. Not great, but they did their homework, they did their audit, and they realized two crucial things. One, their name was a problem. And two, every single one of their competitors was playing it super safe, super boring. That was their opportunity. That one piece of analysis led to a creative explosion that shot them all the way up to 4th place in just 2 years.
And the result of that one powerful insight they dug up from their audit? A whopping 76% increase in market share. See? They didn't just guess. They analyzed, they strategized, and they totally won. Simples.
Okay, so we've talked about the golden thread with the most framework, and we've talked about the reality check of a marketing audit. But let's bring it all home. What does this actually mean for you right now as a marketing executive apprentice?
Look, using these frameworks, it's like having a secret superpower. Seriously, it makes sure your work isn't just busy work. It has a real purpose. It grounds your brilliant creative ideas in actual data, not just a gut feeling. It shows your manager you're not just a doer, you're a strategic thinker. And this is a big one, it's exactly the kind of thinking the assessors for your endpoint assessment want to see. It proves you can connect all the dots, from the huge company mission right down to that email you're writing.
So I want to leave you with a question to take back to your desk. Think about the stuff you're working on today. Can you trace that golden thread? Can you connect what you're doing right now, all the way back up, through the strategy, through the objectives, to the big company mission? Because that right there, that's the difference between just doing marketing and making a real, measurable impact.